This is officially the best episode of Dragon Ball Daima. Not only did we get one of the best fight scenes in years, but we also got a massive reveal that retcons years of Dragon Ball history. We all know of Super Saiyan Blue, but what about Majin Bluu? Within just one episode, Dragon Ball Daima has gotten way more interesting. I will explain everything that happened in episode 8, including Majin Buu's retcon, but first, let's talk about that epic Tamagami fight. This episode immediately starts with Goku fighting our first Tamagami, and it's fireworks from start to finish. The animation for this entire fight scene had no right being this good. The direction, animation, music, mise-en-scene, you name it. Everything was 10 out of 10 for me, and it lasts a solid 6 minutes. That's a lot of cash money for animation. Tamagami 3 uses his gigantic hammer like Thor's Mjolnir, making for some dope Matrix moments from Goku. I love the way they implemented Goku's power pole as he does some crazy acrobatics with it, showing more focus on animation choreography rather than big old blasty beams. It did throw me off a little bit when he cuts the hammer in half. That is one sturdy stick.
That's what she said!
And once again, they really put some effort into Goku's Super Saiyan transformation. Like, we've all seen Super Saiyan a million times, but they make it look so cool and suspenseful every time he transforms in Daima. I do hope we see Super Saiyan 3 at some point, maybe something more, Also, the long shots of them fighting is so damn fun to watch, especially with the beam blast from a distance. I'm glad they weren't flying around the planet and kept it small scale, kinda like the Cell games. And one of the coolest beam clashes in recent years, and I believe this was Goku's first Kamehameha of the series. Correct me if I'm wrong. Goku shows off his battle experience and immediately follows up with an attack after the Tamagami defends the Kamehameha. This ends the fight as the Tamagami 3 submits to Goku, realizing he is the main character, so there's no way in hell he's going to be losing in episode 8. I also have to mention the callback from Supreme Kai as he says Goku is a genius, since he's already acclimated to the Demon Realm's air. Back in episode 2, I believe, they all had trouble flying because of how dense the air was, or something with the weight. I don't remember, that episode was years ago. Unfortunately for Goku, there is one more battle he must face with Tamagami 3. Of course, this being Dragon Ball, we must have a little bit of comic relief. And that's in the form of the Shell game, or also known as Cups and Bowls. This entire scene of Cups and Bowls is immediately 10 times more suspenseful than the actual fight to the death. And we see that sneaky robot throw away the Dragon Ball, which Goku did see, and therefore, he's the victor. And that is how Goku and the gang acquired their first Dragon Ball.
Go team!
We cut to Gloria reporting back to Arinsu saying they've collected their first Dragon Ball, and now it's time for her to make some moves. It seems like Gloria and Arinsu will eventually overthrow Goma and Degesu in some way, shape or form, but we still don't exactly know what Neva's motives are, and I did say last episode that I believe he was going to be the main antagonist of Daima. Until recently. Right up until this scene with Arinsu, which changes everything. We're talking some juicy reveals. But before we get to that, we also get a goddamn adorable scene of Tamagami 3 practicing his Kamehameha as Goku and the gang take off to the second demon world. Gloria is also worried that rumors of Goku having a Dragon Ball will make them notorious, so they've got to sneakily make their way around town. We cut to Goma and Degesu watching DBZ YouTube highlights like true chads, and then we get the most blatant bit of retconning I have ever seen. And that's not a bad thing. I just think the execution was very funny and a little bit lazy, but I do love what it means for the future of the series. Degesu spots Arinsu at the scene of Buu's regeneration when fighting Majin Vegeta, and we see her snatching a little bit of Buu goo for herself.
That's what she said!
We see her looking more and more like a wicked witch from a fairy tale as she is cooking up something absolutely insane. We meet a new character, Maba, who looks like she's been working a 9 to 5 for about 80 years, completely over Arinsu's shit. We then get confirmation that they are cooking up a new Majin Buu, a stronger, more improved Majin Buu, aka Majin Bluu. Not his name, but I think it's pretty fitting. We also get another huge reveal, and in my opinion, it is a retcon. We find out that Bibidi was not the demon that created Majin Buu, but it was in fact Maba. And Buu caused the Glin race to flee the demon realm and killed many of them. Say what you will about retcons, but I personally very much like this new development. I believe it adds a little bit more depth to Majin Buu, and I am very excited to see what this new Blue Buu is like. Hopefully we see Fusion versus Blue Buu incoming. I also now want to see Good Buu join the battle. Get Good Buu in on the action. We also find out Arinsu's true motivation is to become the new Demon King / Queen, whatever they identify as, okay? Finally, we cut to the Goat Hybus, getting a call from King Cannon drunk as celebrating Goku's victory, telling them not to worry about meeting up with Goku and the gang, and Vegeta rudely asks Hybus to tell them more about the Dragon Balls of the Demon Realm. Hybus completely ignores Vegeta but eventually responds with a cold ass funny line.
You're not even a king, but you act so arrogant. So I
ignored you.
putting King Vegeta in his place. All hail Space Mudang. Just a great way to end an already fantastic episode. So here are my thoughts. I was very surprised of how much they put in this episode. This honestly felt like 3 episodes worth of content and reveals. Firstly, we got spoiled with the brilliantly animated fight scene of Goku vs Tamagami 3. Literally one of the best fight scenes in Dragon Ball. If we only got that fight scene in this episode, and then the rest of the time they just pussyfooted around, this would still be a solid episode. Instead, we get massive reveals and we see that Arinsu is Frankensteining a new Majin Buu. This really shakes things up for Daima. Now Goku and Vegeta truly have a big threat in the series. The Tamagami seem manageable, especially after Goku manhandled the first one. But now a new improved Blue Majin Buu?
They're in some deep shit.
They just scraped by against Kid Buu. And this series being not too long after those events, I think they're gonna need some help. Possibly the Join Bug being enough to defeat Blue Buu, or maybe some divine intervention, as the Dragon Balls have been a very focused part of this story. We also meet the real brains behind Majin Buu, and that is Maba, officially throwing Bibbidi and Babidi in the garbage. Those guys. She seems to be the greatest scientist in the demon realm, but I have to wonder why Maba agreed to do this for Arinsu. What are her motivations? Will she be the one to actually be in control of this new Buu, double-crossing Arinsu? Bars? But all around, this was a great episode, definitely the best one so far. But I am itching to see Vegeta get in on the action. They've been sitting in a plane for 2 episodes now. It's time to unleash the beast. He's especially going to go nuts after being in a plane with Hybus for so long. But that's the video. See you in episode 9. Bye bye.